Okay, so I wanted to talk about the specification section of your tech pack because, again, we're redesigning something that already exists. We're adding changes to it. In my case, I'm taking this shirt, this keyhole shirt that is one of our best sellers in the summertime, and I'm adding long sleeves so that we can continue to satisfy our audience, our customers with something new, but with a style that we know they already love. So I have my sweater spec sheet out because the notations on this one match closest to what I need to gather as far as this shirt goes. Now, what do I do about the sleeves? Because these are short sleeves. How do I give measurements for long sleeves when this shirt doesn't have long sleeves? So one thing we can do is we can investigate maybe our own closet and see if we have something similar. So I have this shirt here that has this puffy sleeve, exactly the look that I want to add to this shirt to revamp this shirt. So what I could do is use this shirt and take measurements from this shirt and add it to my spec sheet. So for example, there's a couple things I need to check first. One, the shoulder on this shirt, I can visibly see is way longer than the shoulder on this shirt. So this shirt has a more dropped shoulder. That's the design, that's the style. Does it have a wider neck? It actually doesn't look like it. And so if I measure this neck opening, 7 3/4, and I measure this opening, this one is very close. This one's 8, this one's 7 3/4. So I know that the neckline is very similar, but I can see that the shoulder is very different. So I want to use the same shoulder measurement on my spec sheet, but I want this length of sleeve. Okay, so there's a couple of things I could do, and we're getting very creative here because with these spec sheets, while we are defining these blueprints, we're gonna get first samples and they're gonna go through revision processes. So it needs to be as close as we can make it with the information given. And then when we start to get first samples, we can start doing our fittings, we can start measuring, we can start making smaller tweaks until we get the product development perfect. So in this instance, I'm going to use the resources that I have. I have this shirt that's a short sleeve. I have this shirt that has the sleeve I want. And let me get this more into camera. Okay, so I know that I want this sleeve this length, and I know that my shoulder ends here. So if I look at the specifications for the sleeve, I've got sleeve length set-in, overarm, okay? So I'm actually going to take the measurement from here, from where the shoulder seam ends on the garment that most resembles what I'm trying to make. And then I'm gonna go down to the end of my sleeve. So I'm gonna say it is 23 inches. I lost my pencil, of course. This happens a lot. Let's see. Sleeve length, overarm. I totally forgot what I just said, huh? So from here, 23 inches. 23 underarm. This is gonna be tricky. Let's see. So I can, again, here's my underarm on the yellow top. And I think what I'm gonna do is measure from here down. And I'm at about 15 1/4. Center back, with this laying on top of this one, I can measure from center back down to the end of the sleeve. I get 29.5. And from high point shoulder, 27. So I'm kind of Frankensteining shirts together, right? Laying them on top of one another and using each other as reference points to get the measurements I want. Now this has a cuff, and I also want a cuff in my new shirt, so I would take the specifications for this as well, my length and my width, okay? Let's say, for example, this shirt, right? I love this shirt, but you know, when we washed it, it shrank, and I find that it could just be an inch longer. I think an inch longer would make it perfect. Maybe it's a situation in the industry where you're looking at reviews, or you're looking at what your comments are saying about the shirt, and they're like, gosh, I love this shirt, but it rides a little short, it's a little high. Maybe they're making comments about it being too tight in the waist. This is your opportunity for these changes. So for example, if I wanted to add an inch to the length of my new shirt, right, the one with the long sleeves, I would come here at center front, I would measure, I'm at 21.5, but on my specification sheet, let me find that length, center front, I'm gonna put 22.5. I'm gonna add an inch. I want it to be an inch longer. And then I just need to make sure that I add that inch to every measurement. So at high point shoulder, if I'm at 25.25, I need to come down to 26.25. Side seam. Okay, if I'm measuring my side seam at 16.5, but I'm adding an inch to the length, I'm gonna write 17.5. All right. Maybe these drawstrings are just too long or too short. Now's the time to make changes. Trying to untie this, okay? So if my drawstring off the end is 17, maybe I just want to shorten it 2 more inches, and I'm gonna say 15. Now there's no line here. There's no line here for drawstrings, so I have to make one. Okay, and when I enter this into the computer, I will insert a row wherever I see fit to add this measurement. So if there are any specifications that need to be taken on the garment that aren't on here, I'll do another example, this keyhole. Okay, if I tie the keyhole shut, the keyhole should measure 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, I'm gonna make this its own line in the spec sheet. This is actually a true story. This keyhole was way too big. It was like 3 or 4 inches by 3 inches. And the customers were complaining that it was just too revealing. So we actually reduced the size of this keyhole. We made a dress that had a keyhole, and that's where we made the change. So this is the time to make any changes to the original garment on your new garment. And that is how you would do it. You would find other garments to reference. They don't have to be perfect. This is not the shape at all of what that other shirt is, but it did have the sleeve I wanted. And I like this length, and I like the way it's put together. It's got this little button and a little placket, so I can add this if I want to my sketches and to my components, to the stitches, to everything in my tech pack to let the manufacturer know that we are taking this shirt and adding a sleeve like this to it.